man was Hernando de Soto. First Florida man, first Florida man was Hernando de Soto.
Hello, everybody. I hope that I set all this new tech up right. Um, please, please, please let me know in the chat if everything is working correctly. Can you hear me? It says you can hear me. Let me know if the mic crackles. I think we got it this time. I think we got it this time. Sorry, we're late today. I knew we were going to be late today because I was having some work done on the house and construction sounds. Like they're doing stuff with the deck, and the deck is literally right outside this window. So I thought that would be cool to have power tools and hammering and stuff like that going on while I was streaming. So we let the guys wrap up and head on home, and now we're here. Let's see the chat. I bet there's not going to be a whole lot of people here just because I'm at an unusual time, but we'll see. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. Let's see. I set up all these scenes in OBS. Do you like the new look? It is a new look. So we're going to go with that. And every time I change scenes, now I'm worried that I didn't set up the microphone correctly, but it looks like it's working. Hello, just another nut and parson. I'm glad you're here. Hopefully more people file on in. I have some stories that I really want to get to for sure. However, I want to let people get here first, so I think I'm just going to cover some stuff that people have sent me. I haven't even looked at it yet. I just pulled it up on the screen, so we'll cover a few of these first. And then let's put this over here. And then we will go to, the stuff that I want to get to. Hello, Mr. Angus. Sorry, Colonel. My bad. You earned your rank. Good to see you, sir. All right. I barely just learned how to use the tech that I had, and now I'm using new tech. So it's a struggle. It's a struggle. Why do things keep progressing? Why can't it just always stay the same? I hate change. I'm old. That's what old people do. All right, we'll jump right into it. First things first. Armed robber stays at crime scene to eat victim's fried chicken, prosecutors say. This, of course, happened in my hometown of Chicago. There's a reason that I don't live in Chicago, and this is number 453. In Chicago, a Chicago man is facing a bucket of felony charges after robbing a man at gunpoint and then staying at the scene to eat the victim's takeout fried chicken. Get it? A bucket of felony charges? They almost got me there. Chicago police arrived at the robbery scene within minutes and allegedly found James Taylor, age 20, still there enjoying the victim's delicious fried chicken. Officials said the victim, age 35, parked in front of his home on the 4500 block of South Calumet around 1:30 a.m. Saturday and started to head towards his residence with his piping hot Yardbird. Taylor interrupted him to ask for a light, but the victim said he didn't have one and kept walking. Like, leave me alone, kid. I'm just trying to get my takeout into the house. Taylor then tapped the man on the shoulder. When the victim turned around, Taylor was pointing a pistol at his face. Prosecutor Kenneth Flesh said the victim handed over his keys, $2 in cash, a debit card, and the fried chicken. Taylor, according to Flesh, climbed into the victim's car and went to work on the chicken. Well, the victim dialed 911. He should have stole his cell phone too, obviously. Don't do crime. This is not a how to get away with crime channel. He shouldn't have stolen his cell phone. Good thing the victim dialed 911. Police arrested Taylor a few minutes later. He was charged with armed robbery with a firearm, aggravated unlawful use of a weapon, aggravated possession of a stolen motor vehicle, and illegal possession of a debit card. Judge Ankar Srivastava ordered Taylor to pay $15,000 bail deposit to go home on electric monitoring. The judge also advised Taylor, who has no criminal background, that he faces a minimum sentence of 21 years in prison if convicted of the armed robbery charge. However, prosecutors routinely offer defendants in similar situations the opportunity to plead guilty to a reduced charge for a significantly lighter sentence. Isn't that the truth? This is one of the problems with the justice system is, first of all, I think the fact that this is a crime where nobody got hurt, 21 years seems a little high. And also the fact that they're going to offer him a deal where he probably gets probation. Like it's two extremes. It's way too extremes. He'll either do no time or 21 years. There needs to be like a good, like, I don't know, year and a half maybe for this. I'm not sure. But he doesn't have a criminal record. I'm just going by what the article said. He doesn't have a criminal record. He didn't actually hurt. I did say that he had a gun, though. Oh, it was at gunpoint. Well, I might take back everything I just said. I didn't realize it was at gunpoint. That's a problem. That's definitely a problem. 21 years, though. Like, I've seen people on murder charges get less time than 21 years. I don't know. Talk amongst yourselves in the chat. What do you think? Dude armed robbed the guy at gunpoint, stole his debit card, $2, and a bucket of fried chicken, and kind of stole his car, took his car keys, but just sat in his car and didn't go anywhere. It doesn't say. It says he had no criminal record. It doesn't say 3-time felon, Colonel Angus. Did it? Maybe I should comprehend the things I'm reading instead of just saying the words. I could be wrong. I probably believe you more than me. I guess, you know what I was thinking? I could put the chat on the screen. Does that make you guys happier to have that there? We'll see. If it ends up blocking like what we're reading, maybe I'll move you. I can move you guys around now midstream. Put it there. All right, next story. Uber driver gets shot after picking up woman passenger.
Diamond.
Yeah. Go. You finna shoot up the car.
Shoot up the car.
Yeah, go.
What the fuck?
Jeez,
What is that? What the fuck is that? What the fuck was that?
He just shot at the car.
For what?
Let me call the police.
Why is she smiling and acting so calm? What is this demeanor? This doesn't seem like somebody who's running for their lives. Let me rewind it a little bit. She's smiling.
Yeah, go.
What the fuck? What is that? What the fuck is that? What the fuck was that?
He just shot at the car.
For what?
Let me call the police.
Yeah, call the police.
Man, fuck this shit.
Let me call
My
the police.
thoughts exactly, sir. That was crazy. Where did the chat go? Oh, are you guys behind here now? Yeah, you are. That's going to be a problem.
Diamond.
Yeah. Go.
All right. Bond reduced for woman charged in death of baby found in oven. Yikes. It says here, this is in Kansas City, Missouri. I think we covered this one when she was charged. Like when she was initially charged. A 25-year-old woman was charged 10 days ago. Maybe we didn't because it just happened 10 days ago. Well, no, this was on February 20th. Maybe we did. A 25-year-old woman was charged 10 days ago after her baby was found dead, having suffered from burns and being left in an oven. Let's see what they have to say.
And the death of her 1-month-old baby could get house arrest if she can pay her bond. She claims she mistakenly put the child in the oven instead of the crib. This morning, a judge reduced her bond from the original $200,000 after hearing from her representation. KCTV5's Johanna C. joins us to give us details of what was said in court.
Police say that Mariah Thomas, telling them on the scene there at the home that she was putting the baby down for a nap, accidentally putting it in the oven instead of the crib. Now, the case and the filings and everything that we have found say that the police on the scene found the baby unresponsive and suffering wounds and burns and things like that. This all happening at a home on February 9th near 41st and Forest Avenue. So today, further discussions at a bond hearing. This is a very suspicious and serious issue. Thomas facing a Class A felony of endangering the welfare of a child in the first degree and death of a child. Judge Willingham reduced it from $200,000 to $100,000 cash with the ability for her to pay just 10% of it. Her attorney, Jennifer Robinson, arguing for just house arrest with GPS tracking, with Thomas being able to live in Kansas City.
She put her baby in an oven and you want her to be out on house arrest? Are you kidding me right now? You're joking, right?
With her parents. There are mental health concerns that she mentioned but did not engage more with that. The state sympathizing with the mental health aspect to this case, but arguing it is still a Class A felony and she could be a danger to the community. If she does post bail, she will also not be allowed to have contact with any witnesses. She must take any medication as prescribed and complete a mental health evaluation according to that arrest warrant. So for now, she stays behind bars. Thompson is due back in court for an arraignment coming up on March 4th.
Doesn't look like jail's treating her well. Look
Arraignment
at that.
in court for an
Doesn't look like she's doing too well in there. Good. Good. I hope she's not.
arraignment coming up on March 4th at 2 p.m. So those are the updates from here in downtown Kansas City. Reporting live, Joanna C., KCTV5 News.
In Jeff.
What do you guys think of that story? That was a crazy story, right? What do you guys think of that one? She put her baby in an oven and it cooked to death. Like that, first of all, burns are one of the most painful things, in my opinion. Like, I mean, I'm sure there's more. I just know I've been burned before pretty badly, and it's the most pain that I can remember being. And well, I did have kidney stones once. That was pretty painful. But here's the thing with the kidneys, like it's different. It's different because the burns, like, they stick around. They hurt for a long time. I don't know. There's more people here now. Yay. Smith W., good to see you. Good to see you. Major victories here. Yo. Oh, and I got a yo from Life to the Max as well. Yo. Life to the Max. Yes, I did just yo you. Woman randomly stabs 3-year-old boy in face in the street and tries to slash the child's brother before horrified parents chase her away. And I'm supposed to pronounce that? I'm guessing the T is silent. Belisi? So this story is this is the one I told my husband about, and he said something that I thought was very profound, and then I found out that apparently it's somebody else's quote. It's not even his quote or something like that. Anyway, it was something along the lines of peaceful men are not pacifists. Truly peaceful men are violent with self-control or something like that. That's not the exact quote, but that was the gist of it. And that's the best I can do on a good day, is the gist of it. So that's what you got. A woman who stabbed a 3-year-old boy in the face, then tried to slash at his sibling's face in front of his horrified parents, has been arrested in Georgia. 51-year-old was filmed on Pekini Street in Belisi, walking past the parents with their 2 little children Tuesday evening. Footage shows her approaching a 3-year-old boy who's holding his mother's hand and slashing at the child's face. So my husband watched this video, and he was floored that these parents just sort of stood there. So I'm going to go ahead and put the video on, and you guys tell me what you think. Like, what would you do in this situation? You and your wife or husband, whatever, you know, whichever gender you are walking with your 2 little kids. Each of you are holding one of their hands, and somebody comes up and starts stabbing your children in the face. Are you just going to stand there? I would throw my body in front of my children and get stabbed myself personally. And I'm pretty sure Mr. Zed would beat the bricks off of the person trying to do that. That's what I think would happen. I'm not sure. Yeah, go ahead, play. Why isn't it playing? Oh, there we go. That's insane. Like, really, really long pause time there. Really long pause time. By the way, I see Life to the Max trying to let me know what the pronunciation of things are. I don't care. We don't pronounce things correctly here. We don't care. It would be different if it was like a normal word, but that is not. So yeah, the lady comes up, stabs the little one, or the girl. Maybe they're both girls, and then turns to the little one, and the parents just sort of stand there, and then the mom is dragging the kid towards that woman who just stabbed her children, which I wouldn't like. Really, mom needs to grab the 2 kids and back away, and dad needs to beat that woman, is what I think should have happened there. Evil struck our county. Evil struck our county. 11-year-old girl reports triple murder of grandmother, 2 aunts. A suspect in custody. It's a little short video we'll watch about this one. I watched this one earlier today. This is such a sad story. Basic gist of it is that this grandma and her 2 daughters were in this house in Florida, I believe. Lottie, Florida. And grandpa comes home and gets in an argument and kills the 3 adults there. And the 11-year-old granddaughter of the grandma's house, whose it was, and her 2 the grandfather sees the little girl and then stops. So thank goodness that, she didn't get killed too.
Now at 5. Right now at 5, these 3 women, a mother and her 2 daughters, killed in a shooting this morning. Family members shared these pictures with News 4 Jax. Their 11-year-old niece and granddaughter, she was inside the home at the time of the shooting, and she called the police.
It's still hard for us to wrap our brains around what occurred that would lead to such an incident in our community, which we're not familiar with these things. These are things we watch on TV.
The Bradford County Sheriff's Office arresting this man, 46-year-old Johnny Brown. He's charged with 3 counts of second-degree murder. The Sheriff's Office saying that this started with an argument between Brown and the 11-year-old's grandmother, Quinnie K. Robinson.
Brown told police Robinson's 2 daughters joined in with knives. That's when he grabbed a gun and started shooting. This happened at 2 o'clock this morning on Northeast 17th Avenue in Lottie. That's where News 4 Jax reporter Marilyn Parker joins us live to show us where this happened and the fallout. Marilyn.
Yes, it's still a very active scene. I'm going to have my photographer go ahead and zoom into the focus. You can still see crime scene tape. And the FDLE, they have a sort of barrier blocking the right side or left side.
Like, they're going to play the 911 call here in a minute, and I'm telling you what, it is heartbreaking. So get your tissue ready, because I was weeping this afternoon.
Of that mobile home. We actually just saw in the last 5 minutes someone coming out with bags of evidence, brown paper bags, and someone's actually walking right across there now. You can see and looks like they're going up that ramp into the inside. So that has been the focus, the focal point of the investigation, because that's where it all happened. I spoke with a family member briefly, and he was in tears. This has just been such a hard day. You can't even imagine the family members who've come out here, and they've just sat in silence, some of them. And there was also a brave little girl who's caught in the middle of all of this.
I imagine they weren't just sitting in silence. I imagine they were sitting there and praying for this family, because that's what I would be doing if this was a person in my neighborhood, honestly.
She called 911, and police tell us now the focus is finding her a safe home and also getting some justice for this family.
911, what's the address of your emergency?
This is how the 911 call starts. An 11-year-old girl calls from inside this mobile home in Lottie.
Hello, 911, can you hear me?
There is screaming. You hear multiple voices. Someone is crying. And then the call drops. About 30 seconds go by, and they're back on the line.
Hello? Hi, yes, ma'am. This is Jennifer from Bradford County Sheriff's Office. We received a 911 from this phone number. Is everything okay?
No, calm down.
Okay, what's going on?
Calm down, just calm.
When deputies arrived, they saw 46-year-old Johnny Brown standing outside with a cut to his arm.
This deputy showed up thinking somebody's just hurt, and in an instant, it turned deadly. They realized, hey, I'm on something bigger than what I arrived at. And she's there with an individual who, all facts lead, he's the killer.
Did he say anything to that deputy when she arrived?
He did, but I'm not at liberty to say at this moment. Hopefully we can say that in the near future.
Whatever Brown said, the sheriff says, was enough to charge him with second-degree murder and the attempted murder of the 11-year-old who was hit with fragments from the bullet. According to the report, the girl told police Grandpa was hurting Grandma and her two aunts, and Grandpa said they should have stayed out of it. Brown was in a long-time relationship with the girl's grandmother, 49-year-old Quinike Robinson. According to the report, Brown told police they were arguing, then fighting, when Robinson's daughters came at him with knives. He goes on to say he got a gun and started shooting towards the three of them. They started running, and Brown says he went mad and kept shooting. He told police he stopped shooting when the 11-year-old entered the room.
A very tragic, emotionally charged incident where she lost her grandmother and her two adult aunts.
The report says crime scene detectives determined the shots were fired from outside the bedroom into the bedroom where the three victims were found dead. One of the aunts was found in a position indicative of her hiding, with a chair pulled in front of her. The sheriff says this is a very big family. They are well known in the area, and this isn't easy to accept.
It's like an earthquake moving throughout our community because it is so shocking. Not just one person, but three individuals. Their lives were taken from them. And to us, it's our job to make sure that that individual is held accountable.
How often are you all responding to these types of calls in this county?
Oh, and domestic violence issues arise just about every day. Most of them are just argumentative. At this level, it's very rare.
Marilyn, such a tragic story. Another case of domestic violence. Obviously, we know this is going to be very traumatic for the child who was there. We know these situations have lasting effects on children who witness things like this. I understand you spoke to an expert about this.
I did. I spoke with the executive director of Peaceful Paths, and that is a center who supports survivors, both children and adults, of domestic violence. You know, she told me one of the first messages that she sent to Sheriff Smith this morning was, what can they do to help this 11-year-old, especially when it comes to trauma counseling? I had her explain that process a little more. Take a listen.
The biggest thing is to let her know that whatever the situation was, it was not her fault. That whatever was happening in that household, she is not responsible for, and that the path forward is going to involve a lot of healing and looking at what her responsibility is moving forward to herself. That the only thing she is really responsible for right now is taking care of herself and finding ways to manage whatever grief she's feeling, whatever fear she's feeling about what has happened, what she's witnessed, and what the future holds for her.
Dr. Beachy and I spoke about warning signs and what accountability looks like in these domestic violence cases. You can watch our full interview or conversation on news4jax.com. And I'm also waiting to hear back from family on the GoFundMe that they are planning to set up. As soon as I have that, we'll post it on news4jax.com as well. We're live in Lottie. Marilyn Parker, Channel 4, the local station.
Marilyn, thank you so much. And if you or someone you know is experiencing
I'm going to get this right one day. I was just saying, think about when you were 11 years old. And I know most of you in the chat either know an 11-year-old or have been an 11-year-old, you know, how traumatic something like that would be for you. I imagine she must have been so torn, especially since it was, like she said, it was her grandfather. And the news story said, I guess her grandmother and this guy were not technically married, but she's grown up her whole life knowing this man as her grandfather. Murdering in front of you, your two aunts and your grandmother in front of you. I just can't even imagine the amount of therapy that this kid is going to need. It is so sad. All right, I'm going to get to the stories that I wanted to cover. Let's put these over here. All right. So, have you guys heard of this guy that he was some advocate for criminal justice reform or judicial reform, and then he was found with body parts in his freezer in New York? We're going to dig into it a little bit here, and hold on to your horses because it is a crazy story. So we're going to start with criminal justice reform advocate charged with murder after body parts found in his Bronx apartment, Highbridge, Bronx, New York City. A 48-year-old man has been arrested after police say body parts were found inside his Bronx apartment on Tuesday night. Sheldon Johnson is charged with murder, manslaughter, and criminal possession of a weapon. He's accused of killing and dismembering a man. Police say Johnson is an ex-convict who works as a criminal justice reform advocate. So this Sheldon Johnson guy, you know, the one with the body parts in his freezer, he was on Joe Rogan, the Joe Rogan Experience podcast, like a month ago or something like that. You know, advocating for shorter sentences and things like this. Let's watch the story. It's crazy.
Breaking tonight, a man charged with murder and moments ago facing a judge accused of dismembering a body and then carrying some of the body parts back to his home.
Eyewitness News reporter Stefan Kim live at Bronx Criminal Court with what just went down. Stefan?
Well, Sandra and Bill, Tuesday, cops found a torso and arms in a Bronx apartment. Yesterday, they found the victim's head and legs inside a freezer in an apartment in Harlem. Today, police arrested the man who lives there. He is the man alleged of committing a particularly heinous and evil crime, 48-year-old Sheldon Johnson, accused of killing a man and dismembering his body. But Johnson says they have the wrong man.
I'm innocent.
The victim, 44-year-old Colin Small. Tuesday night, police found his torso and arms inside his apartment in the Highbridge section of the Bronx after the super called cops. Orlando Medina says a tenant called him around 1 a.m.
Someone was pleading for their life. She said she heard 2 gunshots. Someone saying, please don't kill me, I got family, something like that. And then 2 more gunshots. Pretty quickly. Coming in, coming out of the apartment with different articles of clothes, different wigs.
Yeah, he's wearing a disguise and going in and out of this guy who's been murdered apartment, like clear as day on the security camera, and he's yelling at the cameras, at the media, as he's getting put in the back of the cop car. They got the wrong guy. It wasn't me. They got the wrong guy. This disguise is not fooling anyone, sir.
You know, so it's weird. Everything was observed by the surveillance cameras. Right. All those things are, those things I saw.
Prosecutors allege at one point he was seen on video leaving the victim's apartment wearing the victim's clothing. Then last night, investigators say they found the victim's head and legs in Johnson's freezer at his Harlem apartment on 5th Avenue. The medical examiner says the victim was shot once in the head. The allegations sending shivers through the victim's Bronx building.
It feels like the devil just crawled through here.
Johnson is an ex-con who today works as a criminal justice reform advocate, seen here in a Facebook picture he posted with Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg. He served about 25 years behind.
Yeah, he's hanging out with the DA. Like, because we know how the criminal justice system is in New York City. That's one of the ones, like I was saying about Chicago, where they're either going to get 25 years or they're going to like get out with an ankle bracelet and just don't do that again, sir. Like, that's the same sort of thing happening in New York.
And bars for attempted murder and has a long rap sheet filled with other violent crimes. This is Johnson on Joe Rogan's podcast last month.
I had a wife, I had family still, my son was growing up. He was hearing stories about my so-called notoriety, and I just didn't want to be that dad.
Johnson went on to talk about turning his life around.
Got my GED. I left the gangs alone, which was a benefit for them because, I was what you call an authoritarian. I was a rule guy. I'm still a rule guy. I like rules. I like rules. I like structure.
The courtroom was filled with his supporters at his arraignment tonight, with one wearing a jacket reading, specializing in wrongful conviction cases. The executive director of his employer, the Queen's Defenders, also at court. They all...
Like, how much you want to bet he's going to say that he's wrongfully convicted when he gets convicted of this? How much you want to bet?
All declined comment. Now, Johnson nodded confidently at his supporters as he entered the courtroom. He's been charged with murder, manslaughter, and criminal possession of a weapon. The judge remanded him. He's due back in court on Monday.
All right, so that's that story. So what I found interesting about this is that, let's look at the chat for a second before I get into it. Yeah, in the refrigerator, he had potty parts in the refrigerator, and you could see in those surveillance videos that he was taking them in and out of that apartment, which was the victim's apartment, in that like Rubbermaid tub. There was a suitcase. Like he cut him up in the dude's apartment, shot him in the head, cut him up, and then took his body parts out of the apartment. Insane. Yeah, I didn't see a charge for concealing a death either. I don't have a way to pop up chats on the screen anymore, but I can highlight them. I found that out a second ago. So one of the things that he was saying on the podcast that I decided to dig into was that this guy said that his son had been convicted of a manslaughter charge, I think it was, or murder or manslaughter, second degree or manslaughter charge. And also his dad was in the criminal justice system, like served time in prison. So I decided to dig into it a little bit and figure out what kind of family this guy who keeps body parts in his refrigerator comes from. So I found a couple of more stories. One of them is about his son. The other is about his dad. Let's dig into it a little bit. So this is about his son. 14-year-old boy. So his son did this when he was 14 years old. And this was in 2008. So the son is obviously older now. But in 2008, when this Sheldon Johnson's guy, Hannibal Lecter dude, when his son was 14 years old, his son was charged with manslaughter in the death of a Columbia University graduate student who was punched and chased into traffic, hit by a car, and killed, police said Sunday. Keep in mind this was 2008. The student, Ming Yu, age 24, was walking a few blocks north of the university's main campus about 9 p.m. Friday when several teenagers approached him. police said. The police were studying the surveillance video near the area, including at least one excerpt that showed Yu struggling with one of the youths, police said. Yu fled the assailant and ran into oncoming traffic. He was pronounced dead at a nearby hospital. The driver of the car was not charged. The 14-year-old, whose name was not released, which we now know was the Sheldon Johnson's son, was arrested on second-degree manslaughter. He was accused of the one that sucker punched Yu. And I can say that because I did see the surveillance footage, but it was like a knockout game thing, you know. I don't think I have it pulled up, but I did watch it. The 14-year-old whose name was not released, I read that already. Yu, a PhD candidate in statistics and a teaching fellow at the Graduate School of Arts and Sciences, was a native of China. He's a really nice guy. He worried about others, said Chao Sun, 24, who said she had been dating Yu for several months. I can't imagine he would do anything to harm other people. I don't think he did either. I think he was walking down the street in New York City, and this group of youths decided to punch him for no apparent reason. As a community, we mourn the loss of one of our members, and especially of a young person with much to look forward to in his life of promise. So that's the story of the son. Now, then I started looking into the dad, all right? Then I started looking into the dad. This gets worse. Can you believe it? Can you believe it gets worse? So Sheldon Johnson's original crime was attempted murder. And he actually admits to that, like the one that he was in prison for before he killed this other guy. So he had already had an attempted murder on his record. He gets out, is advocating for criminal justice reform, and ends up killing this guy. By the way, Xena and Ava are both here today, and you know what to do if you want to get them treats. This is about the father. I couldn't find news articles, but I did find this BuzzFeed news article that goes into the details on all three of the cases. So I just, since we had an article for the father and the son, I wanted to find out what happened with the grandfather. He was addicted to cocaine. He had been through a bunch of wives. Like, that's what this whole, it's a pretty long article. That's him there. His addiction deepened over the years. He had a child with another woman, left them, then married another woman, and had kids with her. When he was not working, he was shuttling between the dealers on the corners and the junkies in the drug dens in Newark and Harlem. In 1986, he was arrested for raping his 7-year-old stepdaughter 3 times. He pled guilty. Johnson claims he committed these acts when his wife refused to have sexual relations with him because she was angry at his continued drug use. Yes, that's a great excuse to rape a 7-year-old. My wife wouldn't put out for me. So, I just raped her daughter. What is happening in this world? What is going on? Whew. Man, I'm mad. Sorry, I got a little off the rails there. Falcone noted that Sheldon Sr. had no previous criminal record and was his family's sole breadwinner. Wait till you hear what the prison sentence for raping a 7-year-old is. Just wait till you hear it. Okay, so no previous criminal record. He was his family's sole breadwinner. Is your heart aching for him yet? Sending him to prison would entail excessive hardship to the family. And so for his crimes, Sheldon Sr. received 5 years probation and no prison time. I was surprised they let me go, he said. Looking back at the years, Sheldon said that he'd had many shameful moments in his life, but that was the most shameful. You think That was the most shameful? Really? Imagine if he said that wasn't the most shameful thing. Like, what else did you do, dude? What else could you have possibly done if that's not the most shameful thing that you ever done? Whew. 3 years later, in 1989, as state and federal authorities pumped more and more resources into the war on drugs, Sheldon was arrested when New York police caught him buying crack cocaine. He was convicted of drug possession and served 14 months in a state prison. He got more time for buying crack cocaine in the 80s than he did for raping a 7-year-old child. He admitted to it, too. And by the way, 14 months wouldn't have been long enough for the first crime. Would not have been. He was convicted of drug possession and served 14 months in state prison. He was arrested again in 1993, this time trying to buy crack cocaine from an undercover officer. He spent about a year in jail for that one. 4 years later, an undercover cop busted him again, and he spent another year in jail. By the time he got out, he had lost contact with his family, his sister, and did not know whether he was alive. Neither did the mothers of his children. Multiple mothers of multiple children, by the way, who he was the sole breadwinner for, so let's let him out on child rape. He didn't remember the times his teenage son, Sheldon Jr., who knew sign language, helped him communicate with the dealers on the corners. He was deaf, by the way. So that's the story of Sheldon Johnson, the Johnson family of New York. Father, grandfather, son. That's their story. What are you guys saying in the chat? Yeah, I was so upset reading this. Colonel Angus says, wood chipper? Yes, wood chipper. Hello, Claw. Good to see you. There's no containing Ava. Ava did leave. There's definitely no containing her. A dull manual wood chipper. Like a dull hatchet. Just a dull hatchet. Just strap him down and give me a hatchet is what I'm saying. All right. Yeah, this 14 months probation thing or whatever it was, I was like floored when I saw that. Just absolutely crazy. People like that don't change, by the way. I really doubt that's the only child that he's abused in his life, just because for the most part, people like that don't change. All right, on to something a little lighter. Just something a little lighter, like presidential assassination. So much for monetization on that. I see people are donating, so good thing, because I just said some words that I'm definitely not getting AdSense on this. Let me give the doggos some treats, and then we will get into presidential assassination. Oh, man. I should have made this so... I should make a page where Xena is bigger. We can make the Xena cam bigger and me smaller. We'll do that. You guys getting a little inside baseball over here. All right, Ava, get in your spot. Where is she? Ava, get in your spot. Thank you. She heard the cookie jar come out. She's on it. Thank you very much, Parson, for the donation. I appreciate that. And I think I saw Erica. Thank you very much for being a member for 5 months. Thank you. We will get them some treats right now. Ava, your ear is inside out. What are you doing? Let's fix that. There's one for you. That's good, girls. Did you shake? Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much for supporting the show. I really appreciate it. Your names will also be going into the drawings, of course. I appreciate that. Okay. So, do you guys remember John Hinckley Jr.? I guess let's start off with who he is in case some of you young folk out there don't know. So, John Hinckley Jr. was the guy who tried to assassinate President Reagan back in the day. And he said he tried to assassinate Reagan because he was in love with Jodie Foster or something, which I don't know. I don't know exactly how one thing has to do with another, but here's a little 1-minute video explaining to you what happened.
It doesn't make much sense, Henry. He puts you here and then he runs around with a big gun. President Reagan! Back up! Get him out! Get him out! Get him out! Get out, Fat! Get him out! No! Get the ambulance! All right, stay back! Get back! Get the ambulance! I got one hand!
That's what happened. So now, this just happened on March 20th. John Hinckley Jr., he's out of prison now, by the way, because they put him in a mental hospital, right? And the mental hospital said, he's fine now, you know, he can get out, he can get out now. He's fine. That's fine. No problem. So he's trying to launch his music career, and he's upset that people are finding out who he is and canceling shows that he booked. So John Hinckley Jr., who once tried to kill Ronald Reagan, claims he is the victim of cancel culture after Concert Nix. And it keeps happening to him. Can you believe it? Can you believe that keeps happening to him? Oh, we're not going to listen to that. The would-be assassin turned folk singer John Hinckley Jr., who attempted to kill President Reagan in 1981, insisted he was a victim of cancel culture after his latest concert was called off. The 68-year-old was scheduled to perform at the Hotel Huxley in Naugatuck, Connecticut, March 30th. 43 years to the day after he attacked Reagan, but the gig was postponed indefinitely. He told the Post, "I think it's fair to say that I'm a victim of cancer. I can talk. I think it's fair to say I'm a victim of cancel culture," Hinckley Jr. opined. It keeps happening over and over again. Hinckley, who releases songs on his YouTube channel to 36,000 subscribers, is estimated that a dozen of his scheduled performances were canned because the owners didn't want the controversy. They book me, then the show gets announced, and then the venue starts getting backlash, he told the Post over the phone from his Williamsburg, Virginia home. The owners always cave. They cancel. It's happened so many times. It's kind of what I expected. I don't really get upset. Some of his axed gigs include appearances in New York, Georgia, Chicago, and Virginia. Hinckley's sold-out debut show in Brooklyn in 2022, scheduled less than a month after he was fully released from court supervision. It was nixed for safety concerns after the Market Hotel received backlash. Hinckley was found not guilty by reason of insanity after he shot and wounded Ronald Reagan on March 30th, 1981. and spent 30 years in a mental hospital. He was released under supervision in 2016. It's not worth the gamble on safety of vulnerable communities to give a guy a microphone and a paycheck from his art who hasn't had to earn it, who we don't care about on an artistic level, the Market Hotel said at the time. The almost assassin insisted that to the Post, he's nothing like the deranged gunman who shot the 40th U.S. president outside the Hilton in Washington, D.C. The attack, Hinckley, then 25, fired a .22 caliber pistol, wounding the former president, his press secretary, James Brady, Secret Service agent Tim McCarthy, and police officer Thomas Delaney. Brady was most seriously injured of the group, living the rest of his life confined to a wheelchair and becoming a well-known spokesperson for gun control before succumbing to his injuries in 2014. The medical examiner ruled his death a homicide. Jeez. Hinckley was inspired to attack the president after watching the movie Taxi Driver and developing an obsession with actress Jodie Foster, whom he hoped to impress with the shooting. I'm just not the person I used to be. I have a different mindset that I did a long, long time ago. Like thinking that an assassination attempt is going to earn you the respect of anyone at all, let alone Jodie Foster. You have a different mindset now? That's great, dude. We still don't want to listen to your music. Speaking of his music, let's listen to a little of it. It's not good. It's not good at all.
Hello, everybody. Hope you're doing great. I'm going to do an original song of mine. But before I do that, I want to remind people to buy my album.
Don't buy his album.
This is my debut vinyl album, John Hinckley Redemption. And it's available now for sale. You can get it in blue vinyl or red vinyl. And go to my Twitter page at John Hinckley 20, and there's a link there where you can buy it. Or you can go to asbestosrecords.com and buy it that way. But it's selling fast, so get a copy while you can. Here's another original song of mine.
Would you pay to listen to this guy play?
She and I are finally living free. There were others long before her. They're gone with the wind. Some were temporary lovers, others I call friends.
I pressed the buttons in the correct order. Thank you to the Claw for donating. I appreciate it. We're going to give the doggy some treats. Do a shake. Thank you. Do a high five. Thank you. High five. Oh, two at a time. There you go. Cena just drooled on me. She doesn't usually drool. She just drooled on me. That was weird. That was odd. Something's wrong with Xena. Something's wrong with her, definitely. Oh, man. All right. Let's see if I can Press buttons. That's not the right button. That was not the right button. See, I told you, I never press the buttons in the correct order. Never. There we go. So that's Hinckley. What do you guys think of that? Cena Mrs. Steven. Obviously. Obviously. I feel weird not having any background music. I feel like when there's background music, I feel like I can take a pause and like do what I need to do. I'm going to throw this up on the screen. Waffle Salter over there donated on Rumble as well. So we're going to give the puppies more treats right now. A little more treats for the pups. A little more. Ava, did you want a treat or no? Because if you don't, that's fine too. Let me get her in here. There, she heard. She heard the treats come out. Thank you, Waffle. I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. What? Oh, Zena's ready to shake. I didn't even ask her to do anything yet. All right, shake. We're gonna do that again. That was pretty funny. Both of them at the same time. Ready, shake. I love that. Thanks so much. I don't know what's up with Xena drooling today. You would think I don't feed her or something, but I do. I promise I do. I promise. I mean, look at her. Of course I do. Look at those sweet faces. All right. Move this back over here. Moving along. Moving along. There we go. Sorry I made you to listen to so much of that. Ruby Frankie, you remember this lady? I just want to do a quick TLDR just in case you guys don't know this story, which I assume if you're watching true crime, you know this story. Sit. Thank you. Thank you. But I want to do like a quick TLDR just in case you don't. So this lady was like a YouTuber. She had a family vlog channel or whatever. And she abused her children horribly. She like got into this weird relationship with this like Mormon family counselor who was kind of deranged a little bit. And she ended up abusing her children by like locking them in closets and not feeding them and stuff like that. We'll watch a little bit of this. And then the reason I wanted to show it to you, because new footage came out. One of her kids escaped this house and went to a neighbor's house, and he had a Ring doorbell, and they released the footage of that. But let's just see what happened here first, so then the Ring doorbell footage makes sense. And we have a commercial. Great. My ad block's not working, guys. I don't know why. But yeah, she well, it says right there, she whipped them, she shaved their heads. The kid had like duct tape on his arms and legs and stuff when he ended up at the neighbor's house, and was asking for food and water because he was hungry and thirsty.
I'm sorry. I am humbled and willing to serve a prison sentence as long as it takes to continue unraveling all of the misinformation I have believed and bought, swallowed, and acted out.
So it's going to be this kid right here that ends up going to the neighbor's house.
So this is pickleball? It's basically tennis for babies, but for adults. It should be called...
All right, so this is what I wanted to show you. This is why I brought that up, is because this new footage came out of this poor child going to, by the way, they were at this business partner's house. So it wasn't even like his neighbor. He had no idea where he was. He just went to the first house he saw. And thank goodness he found this couple, because they, you know, obviously if a child comes to your house is obviously malnutrition, like really skinny, you know, begging for food and water and to call the police, you're going to help them. But this couple just was kind of amazing, in my opinion.
Yes. Hi, I was just wondering if you could do 2 favors.
Well, what are they?
Taking me to the nearest police station. Well, actually, just one's fine.
Well, what's going on, son? Have a seat there.
It's personal business.
Have a seat. What's your name? I just had a 12-year-old boy show up here at my front door asking for help. And he says he just came from a neighbor's house. He's emaciated. He's got tape around his legs. He's hungry and he's thirsty.
Need someone immediately.
But he has duct tape around
Big
each ankle.
injuries, there's sores around them.
Yeah, there's sores around him. I think there's a good chance he's been...
He also has
oh, and he has it around his
wrist
ankle.
as well.
I mean, his wrist as well. Okay, this boy has been...
Needs immediate attention. Oh, you were such a good kid.
This kid is obviously been... I think he's been... so he escaped.
We need the police here now.
They're on the line. These folks are going to examine you.
I mean, how heartbreaking is that video? How heartbreaking is that video? It's hard to get through. It's just really hard to get through. Honestly. Whew, I almost cried again. Like every time I do one of these shows, I almost cry on air. Sometimes I do. I try to hide it. I do try to hide it. No, that was not good at all. It's so sad. So sad. Yeah, everything everyone's saying in the chat is absolutely correct. It is so sad. I just couldn't even imagine if a kid showed up on my door like that. You just want to like protect him from the world. And there's really, once the police get there, there's nothing you can do. You know, there's just absolutely nothing you can do once the police come and take him. I would, if I was I would want to adopt that child immediately and give him a stable home, you know. I'm sorry I made everybody cry in the chat. I was very close to. If I hadn't watched, like the first time I watched it, I did definitely cry. I think the only reason I didn't right now is because I had seen it before. So we're going to move on to something that's a little less heavy, like serial murder. How's that? How's that for a segue? So I found this interesting. Tennessee high schoolers solved a nearly 40-year-old serial murder mystery. This caught my eye because this is an area of the country that I frequent from time to time, a couple times a year probably, because I have friends who live in the area. And so this just off the dome, and then I'll read the story to you guys. But this high school class, the teacher, I forget what kind of class it is. It is a sociology class. So the sociology teacher has these kids try to solve a cold case each year, just to kind of show them how the investigations work and you know, stuff like this. He never expected them to actually solve a 40-year-old serial murder, right? He just knows that there's these crimes in his state, in his area, that have not been solved, and he puts them on it every year. And this class actually, identified some of the victims who were previously for 40 years Jane Does. So since they were able to figure out who the victims were, they were able to figure out if they were in the area where this suspected serial killer was, and it's a whole thing. So in the spring of 2018, Elizabethton High School teacher Alex Campbell gave his sociology class a widely ambitious assignment. He asked them to solve a case gone cold for decades involving a potential serial killer. Elizabethton is a small city in northeast Tennessee bordering the Appalachian Mountains. In the 1980s, a police task force was called to investigate the killings of several redheaded women. I hear my dogs in the living room right now just beating the crap out of each other. I don't know if I think the microphone probably blocks that out, but man, they are going at it. Sorry, I got distracted. In the 1980s, a police task force was called to investigate the killings of several redheaded women whose bodies were found in Tennessee and neighboring states, but the crimes were never solved. Campbell thought revisiting them would make his sociology class more interesting for his students, while also putting them on a mission. I think if I had teachers like this in high school, I wouldn't have been so bored and done so poorly in high school. I think if I had teachers that kept my interest with things like that, I would have done better, in my opinion. I think teachers like this are few and far between. A lot of teachers just do the day in and day out, do what they have to do to not get fired to get their tenure. But this guy really seems to want to come up with, wants to keep his class engaged and love learning. And he did it with this one. Campbell thought revisiting them would make his sociology class more interesting for his students while also putting them on a mission. Elizabethton High School students had been asking for more engaging classes and were instrumental in obtaining an award from XQ to reimagine teaching and learning. Over the course of a semester, the student spoke with professional investigators, gathered evidence, and pieced together a nearly 40-year-old mystery to identify the killer responsible for at least 6 murders of redheaded white women. In the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation has agreed with the student's theory, but no charges yet have been filed against the suspect. Now their Dodge class work is the subject of the iHeartRadio True Crime podcast series Murder 101. I haven't listened to it because I just found out about this the other day, but I'm definitely going to. I know what I'm going to be listening to on my way to and from work for the next week or however long the podcast is. Stop licking my elbow. It's weird. Go get in your spot. Zena, get in your spot. We spoke with Campbell about the assignment and how this type of project-based learning is key to his teaching style at Elizabethton High School. Alex Campbell, I had noticed that in my past couple of years of teaching sociology, anytime we talked about profiling or things like that, the students were just mesmerized. And when I found out that true crime is one of the top podcast genres in the world, I thought, hey, people are interested in it. The students are interested in it. The number one thing about being a good teacher is you have to have the students interested in the subject. So I said, hey, let's use this and see what happens. And I guess they were really interested because they did a great job with it. I'd say so. How did you pick the redheaded murders? The only cold case murder we knew in our county was the Cynthia Taylor case. But when I was researching, I found there were lots of young redheaded women, or redheaded white women, killed and dumped beside the road in Tennessee in the 1980s. And I thought, wow, I'd never heard of this. So we should work on it and see what we can do, since it didn't seem like anybody else was really doing anything with it. You're a teacher, not a detective, but you've done a lot of project-based learning at your school. How did you find this how did you fold this cold case into your class? What I usually think about is, what are the skills and the standards that the students would need to do a good job with this? I kind of write those up, and then you see if they fit in with the standards of your goals as a teacher. So knowing how to research and understanding people's backgrounds, how their upbringing and 5 agents of socialization impact them, the person they become. I felt those were the things we could cover in the sociology curriculum, while helping the students figure out how to go about this project. And I think that the teachers, and I think that that's where the teachers have to start. Once you say, where do they use this? And what are some real world problems? Then you just turn the kids loose, trying to apply their knowledge and help with some of those problems. All right, I'm not going to read this whole interview, but I will link it if you guys want to read the whole thing. My voice is starting to go out. We need a video. I just thought this was so interesting. Long story short is that they identified 3 of the victims that were Jane Doe's before this. This high school class did, which I just thought was amazing. And the person that they think did it was convicted of a similar crime in Knoxville, which is not too far from Elizabethton, like 2 or 3 hours or something like that. And this woman was a stripper at like a nightclub, or like a stripper or whatever. And this guy, and I forget his name. I should have had it pulled up. I'm going to pull it up right now. Hold on. Let me get it in front of me. This is why we need background music. So, I can just have a second to pull stuff up. Here we go. All right. So the guy's name was Jerry Leon Johns. Okay, so this guy was a bad guy. He was a truck driver, which this class also deducted that because of where the bodies were located on like trucking routes, and they were located next to highways and stuff like that, and like sort of the MO, a lot of these girls were last seen at like truck stops and stuff like that. They figured he must be a truck driver, and this guy was a truck driver. And then in Knoxville, he went to this strip club, picked up this girl who was a stripper, and brings her back to his hotel room, and he attacks her, strangles her, just like most of these women were strangled, and takes her out to the forest and dumps her next to the highway. But she didn't die. She survived and identified him, and he was convicted of that crime, but he died in prison in 2015. So that's why they haven't charged anyone with what all these other girls that have since been identified, 3 of which were by this high school class. I just thought it was interesting. And yeah, they all had either strawberry blonde or red hair, so definite victim type. They were all picked up at truck stops or like stripper bars, stuff like that, like places like that. Just very similar MO on all of these. Yeah, look up this redhead murders case. It's a little crazy. All right, moving along. Oh, this is funny. This is at a Montgomery gas station. The security guard has a Glock magazine in a Taurus G2C.
There you go. He's not in there, man.
They got clock through the You go dab out.
Like when I first saw it, I thought it was just an extended magazine. Like I have one of those for my Glock. And then once you see it, it's not even a Glock. It's a Glock magazine. It's not even a Glock.
You go dab out. Oh, shit.
He's not in there.
That's a regular size magazine. That gun's not firing anything. That was fun. Let me close some of these tabs. I think we're almost done. We don't want to be done, do we? Should I pull up more tabs? I think I should. All right, let's let this play. And I'll pull up more tabs while you guys are doing that. Looks like I have 54 seconds to do it. This headline just caught me off guard. Men bombed woman's dream house and wanted her python to eat daughter, says Georgia authorities. Let's find out what happened here.
2 Bryan County men have been indicted on multiple federal charges for the January 2023 bombing of a Richmond Hill home. Right now, we want to show you some video. This is of the home, the aftermath of that explosion. 37-year-old Stephen Glosser and a 34-year-old Caleb Kenzie are facing multiple charges, including use of an explosive to commit another felony offense and possession of an unregistered destructive device. The indictment claims the 2 men conspired to place the victim under surveillance with the intent to kill, injure, harass, or intimidate. Those methods, such as shooting arrows into the victim's front door and releasing a large python into the victim's home to eat the victim's daughter, leading up to the explosion on January 13th. Both Glosser and Kenzie are in custody awaiting trial.
Crazy story, right? I don't know what the backstory of that is or anything like that. I have no idea, but why is it not letting me get out of this? Escape. I just pulled up the other tabs. I swear I did. There they are. All right, more tabs. We just watched that one a little while ago. Let's see what viewers like you are saying. Yes, if you all could please stop licking my elbow, I would appreciate it. Would appreciate it. Yeah, number 2, wasn't that a great teacher? I love that. I love learning like that too, by the way. Love learning like that. All right. Watch as thugs rob $58,000 worth of goods from a New York Gucci store in broad daylight. I mean, come on. Okay, let's watch.
It's a high noon heist at gunpoint. The suspects stormed a luxury Gucci store in New York City. It's a bold holdup. The brazen nature of the holdup in broad daylight has retailers and customers shaken. Police released video showing who they say is a female accomplice casually walking out of the store after apparently casing the place for signs of security. Moments later, 2 masked men enter with guns drawn, ordering the staff to hit the deck. He and the accomplice proceed to grab everything they can lay their hands on. One suspect is carrying so much stolen loot, he bumps into a mannequin, stumbles, and falls. Outside the store, you see the female suspect. Then the other suspects emerge to a busy afternoon sidewalk. Passers-by don't even seem to notice the suspects running to the getaway car with an estimated...
What is happening in New York that they see this? They see this guy running past them and nobody's even bothered by it. Like, nobody's even like flinching, not even batting an eyelash at this running past.
An estimated $58,000 in merchandise. The impact of this kind of robbery is far-reaching.
This is one of the most brazen crimes committed. Risk to the shoppers, risk to the workers. It's a crisis out of control.
What is happening with my computer? Why is it doing that? There we go. Man who allegedly robbed 3 Michigan banks charged after posting photos of himself with the cash in the same clothes online. Wow. Thank goodness for dumb criminals. That's all I have to say about this story. Thank goodness for dumb criminals. Like, they catch themselves. The police don't even have to do anything. A man accused of robbing 3 Michigan banks has been arrested and charged after posting photos of himself on Facebook, on his Facebook account, holding the money and wearing the same clothes that he had worn during the robberies, officials said. Glenn Pack, age 23, was indicted on federal court on 3 counts of bank robbery in connection to robberies at the PNC Bank in Hamtramck, the Chase Bank in Harper Woods, and the PNC Bank in Hazel Park, according to to a release from the United States Attorney Don Eisen. Oh, he had notes, huh? Okay. FBI agents arrested Pack on January 25th in West Virginia. He was returned to Michigan to face charges. The following is a list including the location of each bank and the date the robberies happened. He took notes. The first robbery happened at 2:47 on December 19th at the PNC Bank. The second occurred at 1:12 on January 2nd. At the Chase Bank, according to the criminal complaint. The third robbery happened at 9:38 in the morning on January 12th at the PNC Bank. All 3 robberies, Pack allegedly got into the line and presented the teller with a note indicating that she was that he was robbing the bank and demanded money. "I'm robbing you," the note said. "Remain calm. Keep your hands in my view. No panic button. Do not be extra. No die pack. No bait bills. No GPS. Count from stack of clean bills. Hurry, you have 45 seconds. Count $9,000, all hundreds. Count fast. I'm serious." Officials say the total loss from the robberies was $10,500. While investigating, the authorities found Pack's Facebook account, which had a photo of Pack with large amounts of money wearing the same clothes. Look at this. What a dumbass. The same clothes he was wearing during the robbery. Pack could face up to 20 years in prison if convicted of bank robbery. Like, we talked about sentencing earlier today, and that chicken robbery, the first story that we covered, the maximum sentence was 21 years. The guy who robbed the guy on the street of a bank card, $2, and a bucket of fried chicken. This guy robbed 3 banks, and it's the same prison sentence. It's a year less, actually. It's less of a prison sentence. It's less of a prison sentence. What is going on? On-duty cop arrested for shoplifting $140 shoes while in uniform, embarrassing the department. Whoever sent this to me, thank you. You know what I like around here. On-duty in uniform, shoplifting. Wow. All right, let's hear about it after this commercial from Realtor.com. Right after that. This looks like this happened in Mississippi. That's not even, I don't think this video has anything to do with the story, does it? It doesn't. That's just today's headlines. We'll read about it. A Mississippi cop was arrested by her colleagues for allegedly shoplifting sneakers while on duty and in uniform, getting taken into custody in her own squad car. That's amazing. I hope they put her own handcuffs on her. That would be hilarious. Now fired Columbus officer Robin Connor, age 33, was busted Wednesday at a Dick's Sporting Goods when an employee stopped her walking out in a $140 pair of tennis shoes. Her police chief, Joseph Doherty, told the Columbus Dispatch, "We're putting her in jail," the chief said. Get her. Who are you talking to? I didn't ask for comments. "We're putting her in jail," the chief said, who was among those who responded to the arrest in his own uniform-clad, or to arrest his own uniform-clad officer. "It's embarrassing for the department, and we're going to treat her like we would anybody else." Wow. Doherty said the store employee caught Connor trying to steal the shoes and detained her before calling 911. He told the officers, was in uniform. Dispatchers called a supervisor at Connor's precinct with Chief Doherty and his assistant chief responding along the officer's captain. So she gets caught, and all of her boss's boss, and her boss's boss's boss show up at this store. Wow, that's crazy. Connor's colleagues then arrested her and brought her to the Lowndes County Adult Detention Center in her own patrol car, according to WTVA. Connor was immediately placed on administrative leave, but the Columbus City Council voted unanimously Thursday to fire her. Well, yeah, after 2 years on the force. She's also charged with misdemeanor shoplifting for stealing goods worth less than $1,000 and was given $862 surety bond. Look at this bitch. Like, how do you expect to enforce the law when you're a criminal? How do you expect to do that? How do you expect people to respect your authority if you're shoplifting tennis shoes at Dick's Sporting Goods, ma'am? How do you expect that to happen? We have a job to do, and we're held to a higher standard, Doherty told the local news station. And the community is just starting to trust us. No, they're not. This really, and this gut punch really hurts. That's why we fulfilled our obligation, not only to the store, but to the community. It's unclear whether the fired officer has an attorney to speak on her behalf. Yeah, so that's her, guys. That's her. I noticed no body cam there. Seems a little sus. And that's before and after. Prison's not treating her well, or jail, whatever. Shots fired inside a Cobb County trampoline park sends crowd into chaos, leaving several injured. Let me fix my earbuds. My hair's in my face. Give me a sec. This is in Cobb County, Georgia. Multiple suspects are on the run after officials say they were involved in a fight at a Cobb County trampoline park that resulted in several injuries. Cobb County Police said on Saturday at 7:10 p.m., officers received a report of shots fired at the Altitude Trampoline Park in Brookwood Square Shopping Center on Austell Road. Brookwood Square Shopping Center. I think that's in Mableton. Maybe it's in Austell. It's either in Mableton or Austell. It's over on that side of town. According to the investigation, a 30-year-old man was in the bathroom at the park when multiple suspects attacked him. During the attack, officials said one of the suspects pulled out a handgun and shot at the victim. Police have not said what prompted the attack. Investigators determined the shot was fired, not intended to hurt anyone. Who shoots a gun at a trampoline park if it's not intended to hurt somebody? That doesn't make any sense. After the shot was fired, the trampoline park customers began to panic. Well, yeah, I could see that, and ran out of the building. During the chaos, officials said several people were hurt as a large group attempted to escape. Makes sense. Makes sense. I imagine people were getting trampled and stuff, and there's probably kids in there, right? It's a like there's usually kids at it. I've never been to a trampoline park, but I imagine there's a lot of kids there. I imagine. Riverview man accused of abusing an 8-month-old. This doesn't sound fun. Somebody sent it to me, though, so I guess we're going to find out. Maybe not.
Cough up nearly $500 million. The amount was decided by the judge in a civil fraud trial in New York.
This is
As
just the
Fox's
live
C.B.
news.
Cotton reports.
I hate it when they have videos that are not related to the story at all. It's not related. Oh. They get me every time. Riverview, Florida. A Riverview man is under arrest. Nice to see you, Colonel Angus. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate you being here. On February 18th, investigators say the mother of an 8-month-old left her child in the care of James Clark, 33, when she went to work. While the mother was at work, she told deputies she got a call from Clark, who told her the child had accidentally put their hands in a cup of hot chocolate and burned their hands. Investigators say when the mother returned home, she noticed the baby had suffered injuries and discovered bruises all over the child's body. An 8-month-old with bruises all over its body and burned hands. That's not an accident. The mother rushed the baby to the hospital. This person here did not take the baby to the hospital. Crazy. According to the investigators, after being examined at the hospital, it was discovered that the baby had endured various injuries. These included injuries to the ears from high velocity force, broken blood vessels, a non-displaced left perineal fracture, a significant burn needing skin grafting. Yeah, that's significant, I would say. Clark was arrested Thursday and charged with aggravated child abuse and neglect. The magnitude of this case is indescribable. The thought that somebody could inflict such harm on a defenseless 8-month-old baby is sickening, said Sheriff Chad Crossinger. We are disgusted by this man's actions and will ensure that he's held accountable for his cruelty. We are committing to make sure every child is secure and protected. What do you do if you're the cop that has to arrest this guy after you are at the hospital and see this baby's injuries? Because I think I wouldn't be able to hold myself back. I really don't think I could. An 8-month-old. Dude, an 8-month-old? For charge after 23 plus shots fired into Detroit home, killing a sleeping 11-year-old girl. So these people, these are the 4. They've been charged. This happened on February 20th at a home on the 6000 block of Pennsylvania Street on Detroit's east side. This is just the same old, this happens in every city all the time. 4 people were charged. It was probably a drive-by or some gang-related thing. Detroit police said a group of shooters approached the house and fired at least 23 shots. 4 people were arrested, and the gun was recovered. Police later took a 5th person into custody. The shooting happened at the same house in December, according to officials. 4 people are charged. A 19-year-old, 18-year-old, 19-year-old, and a 20-year-old. All right, I'm sick of this story. That's the same story. What is this? Man stabs 73-year-old woman 25 times before raping her teenage daughter? Her teenage granddaughter. Wow. All right, let's see what happened here.
Is being held without bond on murder and rape charges after police say he killed a woman in her Bel Air home, then assaulted her teenage granddaughter. All is quiet Friday along Bedford Road in Bel Air after a longtime resident was killed in her home Thursday.
Total shock, disbelief, so undeserving to such kind person.
Bel Air police identified Kathy Bland, a 73-year-old grandmother, as the victim, stabbed multiple times inside her front door by a man police say was there to see her granddaughter.
Used a knife to stab and kill her. It's just disgusting. Likely dozens of stab wounds.
Prosecutors told the judge Friday Bland was stabbed 25 times. The call came in just after 2:30 Thursday afternoon. Harford County Sheriff's deputies arrested 24-year-old Angelo Spencer at his home in Abingdon an hour later. Spencer, identified in court documents as the ex-boyfriend of Bland's 17-year-old granddaughter.
If we could figure out what gets in the minds of these deranged people, despicable people that, that drives them to do something so disgusting like this, I wish we could figure it out.
Court documents say Spencer admitted to stabbing Bland with a pocket knife, telling investigators he panicked and then continued to stab her multiple times.
We don't know what drove him to want to do something like that. It's just disgusting.
Spencer is also accused of assaulting Bland's granddaughter upstairs before leaving the house. Co-worker Charlotte Green supported Spencer in court Friday and calls him a good man.
I just can't believe this is happening. I just can't. If this is not him, something had to make him snap.
Neighbors in the Homestead Village neighborhood remember Bland for her heart.
And a very caring person, always willing to help someone.
He seemed like such a nice
Now,
guy.
Spencer
I
appeared
can't believe he would do something like that.
by video from the jail for his Friday afternoon bail review, in which was denied by the judge. He elected not to speak. He has a preliminary hearing set for March 19th. Reporting live in Bel Air at 4, I'm Paul Gessler for WJZ.
Thanks, Paul Gessler. Appreciate that. Oh, this is from VidMax, which means I'm always afraid. All right, so thug tries to rob $100,000 in jewels from a jewelry store in Chicago. Horatius is the one that always sends these, so I'm kind of nervous about what it's going to be. No sound on this one. What? Wow. That was fat. Look at this. Let's watch that again. Bam, bam, bam. Oof. Got him. Oh, maybe they didn't get him. Huh. Oh, they... Yeah. Why is he going back? Oh, he forgot his purse. That's sweet. And he runs onto the subway, or the L, and it's in Chicago, so that's the L, not the subway. Where was this? It doesn't say where. Why is my escape button not... You know what? I think my whole keyboard is dead. I think I need to plug it in. My keyboard has not been working all night. Hold on. There we go. Now my escape key works. I couldn't figure out why my escape key wouldn't work. It wasn't plugged in. It was dead. It died. Racetrack near GSU campus closes down due to public safety issues, company says. Racetrack is a gas station here in the Southeast, by the way. Hello, Stephen. Nice to see you. The racetrack on Piedmont Avenue is now closed, according to the company's CEO, because of stuff like this.
After another deadly shooting. A racetrack near Georgia State's campus is closing after another deadly shooting. We told you a man died at the downtown Atlanta gas station on Piedmont Avenue Sunday. Racetrack CEO says the gas station is unsafe for workers. And if you can't, take a look right here at this new surveillance video police released overnight. It's from inside the racetrack the day of the shooting. They need your help finding these two people. Police say the suspect is wearing a black jacket and the person of interest can be seen wearing a red hoodie. If you know who these people are, please contact police.
You want to carry me? You okay?
Wow. All right. Time for Xena treats. Let me move that over. Oh, they're ready. Look at them. They are ready. You guys want a cookie? Is that what's happening right now? Erica bought you one. Thank you, Erica. I appreciate it. Let's get these doggos fed. Let's get them fed. Let's see. We'll see if we can do a double high five or double shake again like we did earlier today. That was pretty cool. All right. Ready? Sit. Shake. Ah, double. Good girls. Good girls. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate it. They appreciate it. Everybody appreciates it. By the way, if you want to help out the show, you can also go to kdz.com. That's kdz.com on the internet and purchase any of the merchandise. Here we are at kdz.com. And if you like the show and want to support the show, you can use discount code KT5 to get 5% off anything on this whole website. You have stuff to choose from over here. You can get the Overruled merchandise, which I like. I do like this hardcovered Overrule notebook. My favorite thing is this not my How to Get Away with Crime notebook, where you can use it to take notes and stuff like that. And I actually got myself one. It's back here. Let me grab it. I'll show you guys. I didn't realize this when I had made this and purchased it, but it's perforated. So you can like take notes and then tear out the pages if you want. It's got perforations there. It's like pretty good quality. It's a hard-covered. It's nice. It's the size of my head. So you can pick yourself up one of those. Like I said, use discount code KT5 for 5% off. We have sweatshirts, we have hoodies, we have all of the things. Hats, tank tops. You can get Steven stuff there too, whatever. Discount code works there too. The Crimeland merchandise is the new design Crimeland merchandise. I like the coffee mug here, by the way. I also like this zipper hoodie. Although we're coming into summer right now, right? So you probably want to get a tank top, right? It's going to be hot. Pick up a tank top. I like the design with the dark gray, personally. I think it looks good in that color. But you get what you like. It's all different colors. And of course, there's Xena Corner as well. You can get a coffee mug, tank top, t-shirt, or a bandana for your own pet. They come in small, medium, and large. Or they have these wine glasses. I might take these wine glasses off the website, actually. My sister ordered one. I don't like it. I don't like it. We get rid of that. But the coffee mugs are awesome, so get one of those. Anyway, I appreciate all of your support, whether you buy something or not. I appreciate you guys just being here. Missing child reported. Or child reporting. I can read. I swear I can read. Get in your spot, ladies. You're distracting me. Get in your spot. Get in your spot. Thank you. Child reported missing, found at the bottom of a 10-foot hole. Mother charged in her death. The mother of a 10-month-old baby has been charged with manslaughter after Law enforcement officials say she dropped the child down a 10-foot deep pipe access area covered in mud and water and left her alone. How is this manslaughter? If you put a 10-month-old in a hole filled with mud and water and leave it there, that's not manslaughter. That's murder. I don't know. That's first-degree murder. What are we doing here? What are we doing here, people? Prosecutor Michael Nobles said that Persia Nelson, age 24, dropped a 10-month-old Halo Branton down a pipe access area at a General Electric campus and left the child there to die. Oh, geez. Look at the eyes on that baby. Could you imagine just putting this ray of sunshine into a hole and leaving it there to die? That's just crazy. Halo was reported missing Saturday night, and law enforcement searched the area overnight. An Amber Alert was issued at 10:10 a.m. Sunday. At 12:36 p.m. Sunday, the alert was canceled. State police initially reported the girl was found in good health, but later removed that characterization from the child's condition. Lieutenant Ryan Mitrone, the Schenectady Police Department's public information officer, said Sunday that a team of officers found the girl in an area between Hillcrest Park and the General Electric campus Sunday afternoon. She was rushed to Ellis Hospital, where she was pronounced dead. Wow, it went from found in good condition to pronounced dead real quick. Prosecutors told the court that Nelson had only been in the area since November, and before moving to Schenectady to be with a boyfriend, she stayed at a shelter in Albany County. According to police, she was taken into custody around 6 a.m. Sunday. Though Nelson is currently facing, I'm not laughing at this story, I'm laughing at whatever's happening in the other room that I can hear. I'd like to thank my husband for getting Ava a toy that makes all sorts of noise. I appreciate that. Thank you. I knew that was a bad idea. According to police, she was taken into custody around 6 a.m. Sunday. Though Nelson is currently facing manslaughter charges, Noble said that the judge told the judge that an autopsy being performed Monday and that significantly and enhanced charges could be added as this case progresses. Thank goodness, because that does not sound like manslaughter to me. Are you guys hearing this? Nelson's bail was set at $500,000 cash or $1 million bond. She was sent back to Schenectady County Jail to await preliminary hearing. All right, we're going to wrap it up with this one. This is from an account called Might Be Trolling. I highly suggest you check that YouTube channel out and subscribe. Let's get the chat up on the screen too.
No, ma'am. I'm finna tell my side of the story because she already told her side of the story. What happened was I drove all the way up here to get a Plan B. And I like to come to this store because in my neighborhood, they always locking the Plan Bs up because people keep stealing them, like me. This store, I can steal as many Plan Bs as I want. And I'm only saying it on the camera because I didn't steal it. So when I go in here, I come and get a Plan B at least every other day. I need one every other day. I don't want any more kids. I walk inside the store, right? Reach up there, try to grab it, and then the lady yelling in a wheelchair, she on the little aisle talking about don't grab it because the associate is about to help her. Get up and get it yourself if you want it. I'm not finna not get the very last Plan B on the shelf just because you can't walk. Like, I'm not doing that. So I told her what I had to say, like you should have got up and got it, or you should have got a stick or something, knocked it down. That's the reason I didn't go to jail, is because the lady came, rolled over my toe. And I'm just like, oh yeah, I'm finna do her in. Like, I'm finna just do this. I did not know people in a wheelchair, upper body strength is so strong. That lady pulled me down to her level and started doing my head in. That is so embarrassing. And no, I didn't steal before you said I didn't have a chance to. Yes, she got the last plan B, but I don't know. I didn't go to jail, so I don't know why the news is out here, but I didn't bully nobody in a wheelchair. She beat my ass. That's just how that went. Yes.
So I hope all of you are having a great Sunday. And coming up on my channel, I don't even know what's coming up on my channel because, so I was going to cover the Holtzclaw case today, right? And then I dug deeper into it, and I've been telling you guys for a while now. I've been telling you that we're going to cover this horrible bad cop, and you know, I really believed that when I was saying those things. I really believed that we were going to be covering this horrible bad cop, and then I dug into this story, and it's not all as it seems. So, there are bad cops in the story, but the more I dig into it, like I thought, we'll go into it when we cover this story. We'll go into it when I cover it, but he might not be as bad of a cop as I thought he was originally, and I think maybe the cops that were investigating him were the bad cops. So there'll definitely be bad cops involved when I cover that. It's just, the more I dug into it, the more I don't understand why this guy got a 233-year, whatever it was, sentence to prison, because every single one of his crimes, I'm not convinced of. So we'll go into it in detail, hopefully next week, unless I open up another can of worms right at the last minute. Who knows? Yeah, who knows? Anyway, I want to thank each and every one of you who supported my channel today. I really do appreciate it. And thanks for putting up with the new tech issues. I was just getting over the old tech issues, and now I have new tech issues. But my camera's not blinking. My microphone's not doing whatever it was doing. So we might be in good shape as long as I can learn to hit all of the buttons in the correct order and not talk while I'm muted. Have a great day, everybody. We will see you next week. Bye, guys.
What you really think? What you really know? What am I doing in the cul-de-sac for? If I can't get out that blow like Satchmo, but I gotta look cool, I'm kinda full of crap though. It's just a man in black with the locksmith latch, and the cost is half, and he's offering that. Some evocative hats, he's a talkative cat. I'm like, what else are you selling, brother? You say he got some Afghans on his Ottomans that's woven with muslin. Got some technology from the Muslims. Then I ask him if he have him a husband and take a break and stay away until the intelligence come and get what I'm selling you, cousin, if crime paid. Then I break the bank for 5 days, 5 lemons on D-Live, minimum wage in my CD drive. It say center stage is a Dr. Dre just sitting sadly in the case. I trust Dre when he's saying out his face the death row is the label that pays, man. Same way I got an angel that saves, man. It's Jesus from the cradle to the grave. See, you gotta look forward cause the salt is back. Swear to God I'm at the cul-de-sac. Yep, used to rub the lamps in my sultan's hat, and now it's all back to this cul-de-sac. Don't know what's ahead, but you can't look back. Lot's wife is just salty Jack. You got them handshake deals in perfect packs. Yeah, gotta fall back to the cul-de-sac. Just step right side, step right back. Step forward twice, kick your shoulders back. You got to step left side, step to the back. You still can't make it out the cul-de-sac. Got to step right side, step right back. 2-step twice, shake your salsa packs. You got to groove sideways, don't get sidetracked. And you still can't make it out the cul-de-sac. You just step right side, step right back. Same muzzle top, make your matzah crack. You got to groove sideways, don't get sidetracked. And you still ain't make it out the cul-de-sac. Backed up to the limit, last pass on my visit. Either dance or hit the path of the mastodon, get it. Shout out to MTV, shout out to Exhibit. Show me how to pimp my ride while I MTV crib it. Miss Piggy Banks, Mr. Kermit Frog Ribbit. Missed in my tank, missing service by the minute. I gotta kick the universal suffragette exquisite and replace it with the new school sort of feudalism. But I gotta give away the Yankee Doodleism. I don't know about it, man, it's planted in my noodle, is it? Am I an old pooch, just a new poodle? Is it just a new trick? Who said I couldn't learn without permission?